What's up guys? Hello, I am xExotic and welcome to my channel xExotic 2, where I'll be posting commentary videos. If you are familiar with me, and let's be honest, you probably aren't, on my main channel I post reviews, analysis, and rants about movies and shows. I also stream on that channel too, and that is where I usually talk about drama related topics. So that brings us here to xExotic 2, and for my first commentary video, I am proud to announce that I will be going over one of the biggest scumbags in recent times. Of course, I'll be talking about Def Noodles. This now deceased cat in a Minecraft house, as he put it, is a satirical news channel mainly talking about social media creators and influencers. Now I'm going to be honest here, I really don't like Def Noodles, mainly because he has said a lot of terrible things about the people he talks about, pretty much lying about them. Before we go into that, let me go over who Def Noodles is as a person. Dennis, the man behind the character, is a guy who absolutely cannot take criticism. Overused argument, I know, but in this case it is true. He often overreacts to others talking about him by blocking them, or in the case of some creators, lying about them. While not being able to take criticism is not a part of his lying, I decided to bring this up because it shows the nature of this noodle. It's also worth noting that Dennis often hides behind the fact that Def Noodles is just a character in order to shield himself from taking responsibility from what he says. So basically, Def Noodles can lie about someone, and when said person confronts Dennis about it, he claims that it was Def Noodles who said it, not him. A flimsy excuse to get himself out of drama, clearly. Beginning of the noodle is a pretty interesting story. He was unknowingly entered in a game show, Make or Break, where YouTuber Kavos would give brutally honest criticism. After receiving that criticism, Def Noodles became a broken man, or cat. He posted a video titled, "Kavos Made Me Want to Quit YouTube," where he goes over how because Kavos was so mean and critical, it made him want to quit. Honestly, this is completely hilarious. This guy received criticism and his response was to consider quitting. An early sign of Def Noodles' thin-skinned nature. Well, with that out of the way, allow me to go over just some of the awful things that Def Noodles has done, and I'll end off going over his ban, as well as his rebranding and his second ban. So I mentioned before that Def Noodles has lied about people. Well, my first introduction to Def Noodles was when he called out YouTube commentator John Swan. You see, John Swan was in the spotlight for lying about another big creator, Dream, and as a news channel, Def Noodles reported on the story, but oddly included that John Swan was an alt-right commentator. He would make multiple tweets about the situation, and in each one, Def Noodles stated that John Swan was alt-right. Let me say this, John Swan is not an alt-right commentator, nor has he ever given the indication that he is. Dennis has defended his statements about John by saying that it was a joke and that John being alt-right is truth in comedy. Of course, this defense doesn't even make sense because it still implies that John Swan has behavior similar to the alt-right. So already that's one lie. In another situation, Def Noodles tried to lie about commentator Nicholas DeOrio, saying that he, along with Augie RFC and Boblax, were trying to create a fake Def Noodles account on Gab and making it seem like he was posting awful things. Def Noodles posted the clip on Twitter of them saying that, but he took out the part when Nicholas disavowed doing something like that.
And see how many people believe it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. So see, I'm gonna pass on that one. So he disavowed.
Wait a minute. 29 seconds. Your clip is 20 seconds. Why the fuck did you leave that context out?
So he disavowed it 29 seconds in. Let's hear to see if he tells his audience.
No. You're not gonna win this game. You're not gonna win this game by simply saying he didn't disavow it immediately. He disavowed it 2 sentences after or whatever. So therefore he agreed with it, but his disavow later doesn't matter. No, that's not gonna work. Sorry.
For me, this could be for two reasons. One, Dennis could have left out the clip because he wanted to make Nicholas look bad. Or two, Dennis could not bother to do a little research and finish the clip to hear that Nicholas disavowed. Either way, Dennis still looks scummy. Later in a debate with Augie RFC, Dennis would try to argue while Nicholas did disavow, he did not specifically tell his audience not to do that. Which is just a stupid point to make since Dennis is arguing over semantics. In reality, Nicholas actually did tell his audience not to harass Def Noodles, in reference to Augie joking about spamming Def Noodles' chat with BLM. In that same debate, Def Noodles even tried to argue that Augie RFC was a fascist because all the edgy jokes he makes.
Here's the thing, flirting. Okay, when you flirt with someone, does that mean that you're immediately dating them?
No, you're just kind of, testing the waters a little bit. You're kind of, getting into it or whatever. So I'm not a fascist, but I'm just kind of, I'm slipping into it, I guess. That's
not even slipping into it. You're like playing around with it for edginess. That's what that means.
It's a very sneaky way to say it, but yeah, I mean, I guess so.
Now this may just be me, but what kind of comedian, as Def Noodles claims to be, gets all sensitive about edgy jokes? On top of that, what kind of moron thinks that there is a correlation between edgy jokes and being a fascist?
I don't think you're a fascist. I think that you play around with fascist ideas. That's
Got it.
Now, it's pretty clear to me and to a lot of people that Def Noodles was simply doing this to smear John Swan, Nicholas DeOrio, and Augie RFC. It's no surprise that over the course of this timeline, Def Noodles has earned the nickname Defamation Noodles. And that is exactly what he is doing. He is a great example of slander and defamation. And these three are not the only ones Defamation Noodles has slandered either. He has talked extensively about creators such as David Dobrik, James Charles, and Keemstar. For Keemstar specifically, Defamation Noodles has relentlessly gone after him, trying to call him a racist, a scammer, a harasser. In James Charles' case, Defamation Noodles has been on the James Charles Predator bandwagon, along with H3H3 and Trisha Paytas and the mob of 20IQ Twitter users. What's really funny about this situation in particular was that Defamation Noodles was so hungry for drama that he actually ended up posting a joke video and a false allegation. Now, of course, that's not to say that James Charles is completely innocent, but for me it really opened my eyes just how scummy this guy really is. Instead of doing his research to report on credible stories, Def Noodles will instead just report on whatever he can get a hold of. So that leads us to the part where Def Noodles was banned from Twitter. This is a pretty important setback for the Noodle, since Twitter is his main way of posting news and engaging with his audience. Here's the thing though, I really don't care that he's banned. This guy has made so much fake news and slander, I can't feel bad for him. Defamation Noodles has tried and failed to smear the reputations and credibility of many content creators, so to see him get banned is pretty funny if I'm being honest. In fairness, I would have preferred him to not have been banned. I am someone who's big on free speech, and I don't like how platforms like Twitter are really strict on what you're allowed to say, context be damned. Just because he slanders doesn't necessarily mean he deserved a ban. Maybe a warning or a temporary ban would have been better. We don't even fully know why Def Noodles was banned anyways. The leading idea at the time was because of fake news, but that's debatable since there is no definitive proof. In recent times, Dennis decided to literally kill off his character Def Noodles and just be himself. Even though his takes on Keemstar and H3H3 are still terrible, he is pretty entertaining. I found his spurg outs towards Keemstar to be genuinely funny, so props to Dennis for putting on a good show. Although I'm laughing at him, not with him. So because Dennis decided to rebrand, he created a new Def Noodles account on Twitter, which also got banned along with his personal account. Of course, this caused him to understandably chimp out, since he still has no reason why he was originally banned. Although now people speculate that his slander could have pissed off someone with much more power than the internet figures that have been in drama with Def Noodles before. Still speculation, but it could be possible. And as much as I would love to say that his ban was the end of the defamation, nope, because he still continues his defamation on his YouTube channel. Just recently, Def Noodles misrepresented a situation with Tipster, True Horror Stories, and Nox Archive. Tipster brought up the fact that Def Noodles blocks people, and to counter that point, Def Noodles showed tweets proving how Tipster also blocks people. In Def Noodles' examples, he shows replies from THS and Nox that appear to show how Tipster has blocked them. Of course, this isn't true. True Horror Stories is friends with Tipster and has appeared on his streams many times, and as for Nox Archive, he put out a statement on Twitter saying that he got pissed off that his tweets were used dishonestly by Defamation Noodles. Well, so far that's pretty much what Def Noodles or Dennis is up to now. Who knows what'll happen in the future or what sort of new controversies lie ahead. Anyways, I'm xExotic and thank you for watching my first ever commentary video. Expect more videos like this in the future. I am so excited to move forward into commentary. Until next time.